So if there was some way that a stopper on a cup could make it from the cap blowing up and exploding everywhere. It's an iconic thing too that people say it looks like X-rated material than it is. That's getting redefined quickly by LGBT parades. As the second example, excerpt 2 would be you can't run into a theater and yell fire unless you actually see one. In vocabulary, there's things that are permanent that can get you indicted. So if you constantly spill everywhere, I'd say after like 3 times of spilling randomly, you're going to have a lot of wet things like your feet, your backpack, your hands, and your laptop might stop working. So I've had 3 things that made my laptop stop. Sand, and then of course water, if you keep spilling cups around it, and then the third is, I can't remember, but it still is a fact. So if you have an inner core and it has a normal force relation to electromagnetic fields, anything different is polarizing the interferences with dipoles, which are already off electromagnetism if it's not in a normal force circuit. I was saying that like there's stuffed animal at a distance, if you put a hat on it and snow in front of it, it could look like a person. Because unless the water spills out the bottom, it would come out from the top. But if it hit the stopper before it hit the ground and top exploded, could the stopper stop it from doing a spill? Especially if your coat tail hits it, it's like a ducktail. So what is Newtonian fluid? It can only be something like, if it's viscous, and would follow Newtonian mechanics. Mainly on a surface, its middle will bend. So on planet Earth, each time you take a step, if Earth was flat, it would make a bend in the middle. And that might be why the Bermuda Triangle is so interesting. It's like a hairball of gravity if it was one hair in the middle of it. And the Earth was flat. So a viscous solution is almost like in math an extraneous solution. The only difference is one is seen in reality as like with special effects, such as a motion blur, and the other is just a number in math that is improperly came up with after being done arithmetic to it. Is if the top of the water was frozen, it's equal to having that overpopulation of ocean sea floor bed thing that zaps everything except clownfish, but only it would be on the surface of water if all it needed for that equal amount of plant to be on top of ice, because it's a solid state structure as the ocean floor bed would have been if it was dense with that kind of stuff. Oh, the fire station, we had another guy in the truck trying to like stalk me and park there because his truck was red. So The guy in the truck 15 minutes ago, I don't know why he honked, but I pulled up to him, like, were you honking? And he's like, obviously at you, and I can't tell you why, but I had to explain to him that in the last 15 minutes you're the second person who didn't really like my presence. And so I told him I haven't fallen on the ground, but I've definitely spilled 3 drinks, 2 waters, 1 coffee, and I've almost hit 2 surfaces. A rock gate across from the high school, I missed it by that much, but I hit the bottom corner, so I kind of messed that up, and I almost hit a sign, but I didn't. I was like that far away from hitting a sign. And then he's like, alright, well, good enough for me. And then he left into his house because he had to park. Been stalked by 2 trucks within the same house next to a fire station. Just because I had to videotape, I spilt drinks. One with my coattail, the other because it was in my backpack with a bottle, wasn't fully capped. And that's a clear mechanism sign that you should be looking out for. And the third, inside of a sink bathroom area, the water just collapsed because I was moving my cords around with my laptop. So in the last 2 years, the best thing on the internet that I've ever done was get 2 views in the last 3 days. For 3 days. So like, if you get 10 minutes on any given day, I heard from someone that it makes a difference. So like, I needed 9 more seconds because if I get 2 views, today would be the 4th time. And that would be like the best I've done in 2 years. 10 seconds is definitely worth finding if that occurs. Question, how much did the ocean floor bed have these plants on the ground that would make everything on the ground of the ocean floor bed get zapped except for these clownfish? And that would be equal to a surface of the following equation. But even more popular than that idea is if the top of the water was frozen, it's equal to having that overpopulation of ocean sea floor bed thing that zaps everything except clownfish. Just to ask the question, is it more sensible to have an open flame near a gas tank? No. Well, of course, then it wouldn't be okay to have an open flame in a firework factory. I was asking the question, how much did the ocean floor bed have these plants on the ground that would make everything on the ground of the ocean floor bed? So today I heard a horn and I thought it was a tire missing on a car and it's screeching. I had to take off my earphones to deduct the 2. And that's with any noise when it's loud enough will sound like something crashing. And that's why Transformers in the movie, it sounds like everything's crashing all the time. Because those are heavy machines going into overdrive at every motion. In the video game Killer Instinct, there's a guy who's like an abominable snowman covered by all this water all the time, so he just looks like a glorified bunny from Power Rangers. Or if it was a Transformer size, he would take all this ice behind me and turn it on an angle that is conducive to that, and that would be just one of his muscle fibers. If the guy in Killer Instinct that looks like an abominable snowman that's trim, or the size of a Transformer in the Transformers. But instead of metal, it would be like this ice behind me.